So when you read Ecclesiastes, it is such an interesting book in the Bible. Right now, I would probably say it's my favorite, but King Solomon essentially says in one of the texts, I'll put it above my head or I'll just put it over my face. He says, essentially, I became greater than every other man that came before me, and it was still meaningless. So he obtained more riches, um, more status, more power, more everything than any man who came before him. And by the end of his life, he said it was all meaningless. Um, in Ecclesiastes, it often talks about chasing after the wind, right? I think that this is one of the most beautiful concepts that we can apply to our life. Chasing after the wind. Why would you chase after the wind? Doesn't make any sense. You can't see the wind, right? You might be able to feel it. You can't see it. You don't know where it's going. You don't know the way it's moving, right? It's pointless. Why would you chase after the wind, right? But we do this on a daily basis. Um, and King Solomon, he says, I spent my whole life being as productive as possible, doing everything that my heart desired. And I became greater than any man who came before me, and it still was meaningless, right? And it's so important to apply this mindset to our life, not in a way where it discourages you from setting out to doing things, but in a way where your mind shifts towards what is actually important. God is important. Your purpose is important. The reason why you were born, the reason why you are here was to fulfill your purpose. Okay? That's why people check out, right? That's why people off themselves, is because they feel like they don't have a purpose. Why am I here? It doesn't matter, right? That's what they think in their head, so they leave, right? Chasing God, chasing your purpose, right? Family matters and your work matters, right? But I think that your work is really connected to um, your purpose. But it's so important to simplify your life and to really look at what God has put before you and what He wants you to set out to accomplish. Because chasing the world, right? Chasing money, status, power, fame, the Instagram followers, trying to sleep with as many women as possible, trying to have more money than the next man. These things will never fulfill you. Um, I want you guys to think about something. We always see millionaires, but why don't millionaires ever stop working? We all in life feel like, while we're working our way up, or when we're at the 9 to 5, or when we're doing different things, we're like, man, if I could just get to a point where I had enough money to sustain myself for long periods of time, I wouldn't work as much. We all say that. And then we see people who are at that position in life continue to work just as much as us, right? Have you ever asked yourself why that is? It's because that is not a fulfilling lifestyle. God has not made us in a way where that fulfills us. Why does Elon Musk, why is he trying to become the first trillionaire when he has more money than he could ever spend? He has 10 generations down. If every person spent their money carelessly, they wouldn't be able to spend as much money as he has. So what is the point of that? His soul is empty, chasing after the wind, doing meaningless things. And it is so important that as men of God, we understand this. It's so important that as even women of God, we put the things that matter at the forefront of our life, and we chase what God has told us to chase, because that will bring us true fulfillment and true satisfaction out of this life that we have been blessed to live. Um, this world gives us a lot of things that bring us false gratification, and a lot of things that, they tell us, once you achieve this, you'll be good. Once you achieve this, you'll be okay, right? And that's the furthest thing from the truth. That's why it's never enough. That's why we get to one point and we say, oh, when I get to that point, I'll be okay, right? It's because we're chasing after the wind and we're doing meaningless things that a lot of times do not advance the kingdom, do not fulfill our purpose, and do not we're not operating in a God honoring way, right? And it's so important to understand this while navigating through life. Let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe. If you want to book a consultation, the link on how to contact me is down below. I'm out.